Ahora voy a darles más ejemplos y ustedes necesitan indicar su opinión, no hablar, necesitan indicar así, con sus manos, pulgares arriba es bueno, pulgares por abajo es malo, ¿ok?
Malo.
Muy bien, inmediatamente Sid tiene otra opinión y está bien, son opiniones. ¿Cómo se dice? ¿Cuál es esta palabra de vocabulario? ¿Qué representa la imagen? La deforestación, muy bien. Bueno, económica, ¿no? Malo para el medio ambiente. Deforestación, muy bien. Otro. Todos están curiosos. ¿Qué opina Wilfred? Sí, en general, es bueno. ¿Y cuál es la palabra de vocabulario representada aquí? Reciclar, ¿no? Reciclar. Es bueno reciclar. Triste. ¿Cuál es la palabra de vocabulario? Bueno, ¿es bueno o es malo? Malo, ¿no? ¿Qué representa esta imagen? ¿Qué palabra de vocabulario? Es difícil pronunciar. Perfecto, muy bien, excelente pronunciación. COVID, calentamiento global. Caliente, pero en este contexto, calentamiento global. Es malo, ¿no? Es malo. Ok, bueno, entonces ahora vamos a aplicar estas opiniones, bueno, malo, a otro uso del subjuntivo, ¿no? Entonces tenemos estas páginas en el libro solamente para una referencia, 342 y 3, ¿no? Solo una referencia. Ok, chicos. Bueno, aquí podemos ver, es malo contaminar el aire porque la contaminación causa el calentamiento global, ¿no? Entonces, en general, es malo, ¿no? Es malo contaminar. Y ahora vamos a apuntar esta información en estos papeles. Ok, vamos a ver otro ejemplo. Es bueno reducir la contaminación del aire. Reducir. En general, ¿no? En general. Y ahora tengo otro ejemplo. Menos general. ¿Por qué? Porque yo expreso una recomendación a ustedes, ¿no? Profesita le recomienda que la clase conduzca, y perdón, en sus papeles tengo no, pero no necesitamos no. So just scratch out that no, porque no tiene sentido. Conduzca carros menos y vaya en bicicletas más. Ok, ahora quiero examinar la gramática. Las diferencias entre es malo contaminar el aire, es bueno reducir la contaminación del aire y estos verbos. Ok, y vamos a hablar en inglés sobre estas diferencias gramaticales. So, in this particular example, the verbs that you filled in on your paper, are they conjugated or are they in their infinitive form? Conduzca, vaya, are those infinitives or are those conjugated verbs? They're conjugated, right, exactly, because what's the infinitive of conduzca? Conducir. And what's the infinitive of vaya? Ir, right, exactly. Why aren't they conducir and ir. In the previous examples, we used contaminar, reducir, and those verbs are conjugative verbs or are those infinitives? Contaminar and reducir in the previous examples, are those infinitives or are they conjugated verbs? They're infinitives. So why in this example am I now conjugating the verbs?
You're talking about Lec.13.
Muy bien, Colby. I'm talking about someone specific. Y'all, la clase, right? That's way more specific than just like, es bueno reducir la contaminación. There's no specific audience or people that are receiving that recommendation or even the recipient of that opinion. So we have la clase, which means we have to conjugate these verbs. And so now my next question is, once we've ruled out infinitives, there's two types of conjugated verbs, and this is what we were talking about on Friday. We have two types of conjugated verbs in present tense. We have this here, which is what? What we're talking about today. These verbs are in what sort of conjugation? What do we classify? What's that?
Imperative, or the one we normally use.
What have we been normally using? You're right.
I'm blanking on it.
Yes. What's that term that we've been using? Subjunctive. Right, exactly. So these verbs are in the subjunctive. And then we have a different type of conjugated verbs, which are what? Not the subjunctive, but when I say hablar, yo hablo español, tú hablas español, nosotros hablamos español, that's not the subjunctive, because the subjunctive are the weird ones. What do we call those, like, regular ones, normal ones? What's the term? Close. Indicative. Indicative. So once we rule out infinitives, verbs like reducir and contaminar, then we're left with indicative versus subjunctive. So why am I using the subjunctive here? Colby pointed out that I'm talking to someone specific, la clase, but why else? If I'm just using clase, then I would just conjugate the verbs in the infinitive. But these verbs are in the subjunctive because why? Why are these verbs in the subjunctive? Recomienda, chicos. Muy bien. Recomienda means what? Recommend. Right, exactly. But so why wouldn't I just say Profesita recomienda conducir menos e ir en bicicleta más? Why did I conjugate these verbs again? Sam and Colby both identified, but I just want to make sure everyone's clear why I conjugated conducir and why I conjugated ir. Why did I conjugate these verbs? Why didn't I just say recomienda conducir e ir en bicicleta? Why did I conjugate these verbs?
Because you're recommending it
To you, exactly. And remember last fall, we learned that K is a connector when we've got a subject and a verb that's conjugated, and then we're introducing, like Aaron said and Colby pointed out, a new subject, clase. So I have to conjugate these verbs. And then Sam clarified that when we conjugate verbs after a recommendation, those verbs have to be in the what? Subjunctive, right? The weird thing, go to the yo, drop the yo, change it to the opposite of what you know. However, I just want to clarify that just because a sentence has a K in it, as a connector connecting one subject with a conjugated verb with another conjugated verb, it doesn't always put that verb in the subjunctive. Mira, vive, come, camina, nada. Are any of these verbs in the subjunctive? Did they go to the yo and change it to the opposite of what we know? Absolutely not, because why? Es un animal. K is coming before the K, and that's just expressing what? What is es un animal stating in English? Es un animal is just saying what? It's an animal, right? Exactly. We're just stating a fact. Remember when we state a fact with K, we don't need to do anything weird with our grammar after that K. But when we make a recommendation, and we have a K, and we have a new subject like la clase, and we're being very specific, not just in general, as malo, contaminar. When we're very specific and we use the subjunctive, we have to conjugate our verbs in the subjunctive. One last thing before I move on to the next slide. At the bottom here it says pónganse los cascos. What am I saying here? Pónganse los cascos. We're talking about
Wear your helmet.
wear your helmets. Cascos are helmets. Right, exactly. Is this sentence in the subjunctive? Pónganse los cascos? No. What is this called again? I'm saying, wear your helmet. What's that called again when I tell you? A command. Right, exactly, a command. So even though the verb is weird, it's very direct. And I just want to recycle that concept. And also remind you to wear a helmet. Because if you love your brain, you will wear a helmet. I know you feel like a nerd, but the price you pay to look kind of silly in a helmet versus the price you would pay to be in a hospital with traumatic brain injury is totally worth it. I would rather look like a nerd in my helmet than spend the rest of my life struggling with a traumatic brain injury. Because if you know anyone who's had one, they'll tell you should wear your helmets. Pónganse los cascos, chicos. Okay, so just to review, this sentence is an example of what? The subjunctive, the indicative, or the infinitive? Subjunctive, because why? I'm recommending, not in general, but what? To someone specific, okay? However, this example is what? Subjunctive, infinitive, or indicative? Close. Infinitive, because I don't have a K and I don't have a new subject. I'm not conjugating anything. Conducir and ir are the infinitive forms. And in chapter 12, we learned about these impersonal expressions. Why are they called impersonal expressions? Does anybody know why they're classified as impersonal expressions? What's impersonal about es bueno, es malo, es mejor?
It's a general statement.
It's just general. It's impersonal. It's not what? Specific, right, where the recommendation is so much more specific, typically, because they have verbs that are conjugated based on a subject, okay? Most of the time. Es plus an adjective, that's like super impersonal. There's no specific subject here, but here, profeceta, le aconseja que. And remember, these are what we talked about last fall. So we're going to build on these and add to them this spring in chapter 13 with more phrases that introduce the subjunctive. So let's go over these. Se alegra de que probably means what? Alegra. Happy. Muy bien. Espera can have two meanings depending on the context. It can mean like, espérense, wait. But it can also, usually in the subjunctive, it doesn't mean wait, it means to hope or to wish. Gusta? ¿Cómo se dice gusta? Right, exactly. What about molesta? Annoy or bother. Right, exactly. Siente. ¿Cómo se dice siente?
Set.
Más o menos. So, ¿cómo se dice I'm sorry en español? Lo siento. No? Muy bien. Lo siento. So, siente means to be sorry that. But remember, with lo siento, that's when you're like asking for forgiveness. When you use it like you bump into somebody. In English, we're just like, oops, sorry about that. You knock over someone's books or whatever. And you say, in Spanish, you say perdón. But siente is when you're asking more like forgiveness or expressing sympathy. Like siente que su gato muriera or esté muerto. So it's like, I'm sorry your cat died or something like that. That's how we would use that. And for the cat died part, or your cat's dead, that would be in the subjunctive. Esté muerto. Sorprende. ¿Cómo se dice sorprende? It's like sorpresa.
Oh, yeah.
Surprises, like, it really surprises me that, blah, blah, blah. They didn't study for their test. Teme and tiene miedo mean the same thing pretty much. They're synonyms. Do y'all remember what tengo miedo means? We saw it in 101, so you probably don't. And you probably haven't used it that much because you hopefully don't feel this way in Spanish much. Scared. Although you may be like, yes I do, I just didn't know how to say it. Tengo miedo is to be scared, and same with like it scares me. Kind of like worry. So whenever we have a subject with these conjugated verbs connected by a K and we introduce a new subject, like it scares me that, more countries don't care about the environment, or it, surprises me that people still don't recycle. When I introduce countries and people not recycling, those verbs will be in the subjunctive. ¿Entienden? Okay. Otras expresiones. So then we have some impersonal ones. So these are just more specific, expressing emotion. What do you think extraño means? ¿Qué extraño? ¿Qué extraño is what?
Like extra
Strange, right, strange, weird. And we can use these in the subjunctive, or you can say like que with like extraño, like how weird, or que ridículo, or que lástima. You can use these after just que by itself, and it's just a phrase to say how. In this case, que means how. So like, how weird, que extraño. Que extraño que Sofía no esté en clase. Siempre está en clase. Pero hoy, qué extraño que Sofía no esté. Subjuntivo, estar, esté. Qué lástima. What a shame. Qué lástima que Alec se fuera. Ridículo, terrible, triste. Están claros, no? Ridículo, terrible, triste. If something's sad, if you want to say like, oh, how sad. How would you say that? ¿Cómo se dice how sad? Qué triste. Ay, qué triste. We use these all the time in Spanish. Somebody says something that we're surprised about, or sad about, our reaction. You can say que with one of these adjectives. Ojalá. Bear with me, a little bit of a tangent. You don't have to have the que. When we have a verb after ojalá, it's going to be in the subjunctive, okay? So don't rely on that que when you're doing the superside activities. There is one where you have to either put the subjunctive or the infinitive of a verb. If you see ojalá, it's going to be in the subjunctive, okay? So, but I want to explain. I want you to remember this. Ojalá, does anybody know what that means? Ojalá? What does Allah mean? God, but not in Spanish. In what language? Arabic. So why would they use Allah in Spanish if that's really Arabic? What do we know?
You can't take the Lord's name in vain.
Well, sometimes they do. But that's a good guess. What do we know about Arabic influence in Spanish?
There's a decent amount.
There's a lot of Arabic influence in Spanish, right? Why? Does anybody remember why? We talked about this when we watched the video on Casa de Frida and El Patio Central. And a lot of architecture in not only Spain and Latin America has Arabic influence, because why? Do you remember why?
Strait of Gibraltar is really small.
Well, it's close. Morocco's close to Spain. How did all these Arabs end up in Africa? They weren't originally there. They used to rule what?
The
Country.
Ottoman Empire.
Well, they used to rule all of the Iberian Peninsula, which is Spain and Portugal. The Arabs, the Muslims, they were in power in Spain for 7 centuries, 700 years. Remember we talked about that? So there's tons of influence in Spanish from Arabic and Arabic culture. Allah is God in Arabic. Ojalá is the Spanish adaptation of that. So ojalá means God willing, and it's expressing emotion, and so we use el subjuntivo. Ok, chicos, vamos a indicar qué verbo o qué modo se usa. Miren este verbo. Estamos concentrando en este verbo. ¿Cuál es este verbo? Indicativo, infinitivo o subjuntivo. Indiquen con sus papeles. Okay, ahora vamos a ver por qué. Because actually, on the superside on the test, you're going to fill in the blank with the correct form of the verb, or you're going to finish the sentence. I know, you're not just going to recognize, but it's the first day. So we're just recognizing and seeing examples of this. Let's talk about why this is in the subjunctive. Does anybody know why? Will Pahina, do you know why?
I'll be brutally honest here. I was going with just because I saw yo espresso K.
Exactly. Muy bien. Sí, señor.
Oh, I know Spanish.
Yeah. Muy bien. Es un milagro. Qué bueno. Okay, yo espero que. He said, I was just going with subjunctive because I saw yo espero que. Espero que means what? Yo espero. I hope. Hope is an emotion. And so we have que. We have a specific subject expressing the hope, que, and then we have a new subject, todos. Also, we know that this is not an infinitive. Why? Conservan is not an infinitive. Infinitivo, because why?
Because it's been conjugated.
It's been conjugated. So we can rule out infinitive, and then we narrow it down between subjunctive versus indicative. And like Will Pahina said, we use the subjunctive because we're expressing hope. Espero que, it's one of the phrases of the list. ¿Cuál es, para clarificar, cuál es el infinitivo de conserven? Conservar. And so, therefore, we definitely know that it's subjunctive because we've switched the endings. Okay? Otro ejemplo. Y estamos mirando este verbo, perdón. Muy bien, muchos están de lo correcto. Es el indicativo. Indicativo, ¿por qué? Why is it not the infinitive? If it was the infinitive, the underlined word would be what? Vivir. Right, so we rule out infinitive, and then we're left deciding between indicativo and subjuntivo. And this is not the subjunctive, this is the indicative, indicativo, because why? Vivir, vive. We didn't do anything weird to it. And also, es un animal is stating what? It's what? What is, ¿cómo se dice es un animal? It's an animal that. There's no recommendation. There's no impersonal expression. There's no hope. There's no emotion. So it can't be the subjunctive.
Also, is Spanish for bear.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oso. Mm-hmm. That's the word for bear. It's a really common dog name among Spanish. And I think it's a good dog name in English.
Yeah.
Actually, I had a dog named Bear. But Oso is also a good dog name. Or Osa, if it's a girl. Okay, chicos, miremos este verbo. Y clasifiquemos este verbo. ¿Cómo lo clasificamos? Inteligentes. Excelente. Todos correctos, infinitivos, ¿no? Y es triste, ¿no? Es triste ver los animales en peligro de extinción.
It's kind of its own fault. It has to eat like 40 pounds of bamboo a day.
Well, if only we didn't have to take all of its forests down. Número 4. Miremos este verbo. ¿Cómo lo clasificamos? Muy bien, chicos. Mejor que mi clase anterior. Mi clase a las 9, malo. Con este verbo, mi clase a las 10, subjuntivo. Excelente, ¿por qué? Temo, okay. Exactly. ¿Y cuál es el infinitivo de resolvamos? Resolver. Ver, remember, switching. Otro ejemplo. Este verbo. ¿Cómo lo clasificamos? más o menos correctos. Es ridículo que... Miren, chicos, aquí está. Subjuntivo, ¿no? Es el subjuntivo. Además, esté. ¿Cuál es el infinitivo de esté? Estar, no? So it can't be an infinitive, and we know it's not indicative because it was indicative, it'd be estar, right? Esté is the subjunctive of estar, and it's in the subjunctive because why again? Es ridículo. Es ridículo expresses emotion or an opinion. Este verbo es difícil. Bueno, era difícil para mi clase a las 9. Protegen. ¿Cómo lo clasificamos? ¿Cómo clasificamos este verbo? Ah, muy bien. Muy bien. Muchos están de lo correcto. Indicativo. Indicativo. ¿Por qué? Conozco a muchas personas. What's that saying? First of all, is it on the list I just gave you? No. So that's the easy answer. But what's it saying? What is it? Yo, I know lots of people that what? Protect nature, whatever. Protegen comes from the infinitive. We know it's not an infinitive because its infinitive is what? Proteger. G-E-R. So we haven't done anything weird with the ending. So it has to be indicative. We're stating fact and we haven't switched the ending. Otro verbo. Muy bien. Todos correctos. Subjuntivo. ¿No? ¿Por qué?
Nos gusta.
Nos gusta, ok. Y también, ¿cuál es el infinitivo de reduzca? Reducir, exactly. Entonces, eso es el subjuntivo de reducir. It's like conducir and reducir. Número 8. Este es el verbo. Es difícil. Número 8. Muy bien, dos personas saben la respuesta subjuntiva. ¿Por qué? ¿Cómo se dice es muy desafortunado? Yeah, it's really unfortunate. Even though it's not on the list in the book or in your handouts, this is expressing emotion. There's a lot of ways to express the emotion in Spanish that may not be listed in your book. You won't see this, something that's not listed on the super site, but I want you to be familiar. Oh, this is expressing emotion. Also, what's the infinitive of deje? De. What's our dejar? And dejar de, what's it saying? What's very unfortunate? The U.S., what does dejar or deje de estar parte del acuerdo de París saying?
We're out of it.
Yeah, that we're out of it, that we stopped being a part of it, or the U.S. stopped being a part of it. So whenever you have the verb dejar, whether it's in its indicative or subjunctive form, de plus a star is when we stop doing something. Not like parar that we saw in chapter 11, like to stop. You know, your brakes are used to stop. And dejar de is to stop doing something. So if I want you to stop speaking English, I would say dejan de hablar inglés. Ok, chicos, vamos a terminar aquí hoy.